You do not know net engineering yet? Then join me on a short presentation of our documentation tool, Net Engineering. Net Engineering provides you the documentation up to the fiber. From the georeferenced or schematic mapping of the routes, ducts, cables and fibers, as well as associated nodes and connections, Net Engineering supports you with the comprehensive master data management for cable types, duct types, route types, etc. You could expect tools for the documentation of network such as connection editor for fiber optics or telecom cable, or the duct connection editor, an extensive reporting with graphical and tabular overview on fiber and duct level gives you an overview of the captured network. Material list can be created quickly from a cluster. Last but not the least, the Planning Assistant provides effective support when planning a distribution cluster, and the House Connection Assistant when connecting a single house connection. I would like to start with a short overview of Net Engineering. In the current documentation project, you could see the graphic in the middle. This means the network routes with its associated ducts and the duct bundles. Here you see the network location or the distribution point with its associated cabinet or access structure. And here you could see the details of which duct is serving which building. At the top in the menu bar, you could see the tab which has been customized to compile our specialized workflow. In the right side, you see the display manager, which is responsible for the graphical representation of the data. And in the left, you see the workflows. A double click on the element in the graphic opens a form. Via the form, you could communicate with the data as a planner or as an editor and have the possibility to add the factual data in addition to the geometry. For example, the name, the category or the surface type or the methodology of the construction. In the occupancy details here, you could see which elements have been assigned to this segment or the trench. So in this case, the duct bundle and the microducts, and within the microducts the cables which are going to the house connection. In the master data management, you could generate the ducts type, for example, as shown in the picture, and you have the possibility to create any ducts type or the cable type and route type, and to equip them with a naming scheme or a color scheme, and store the corresponding price information which could be used later for the production of a bill of materials. We use the connection editor to create the fiber optic connections, and that could be done in the fiber optic closure. So we go to connection editor. In the connection editor, user has the ability to make the connections of fiber to fiber or to disconnect them. So in this case, one can select or splice the fibers from the incoming cable and to the outgoing cable, and choose appropriate cassette and click on create action. And the splices have been generated. When the fiber connection is made in the fiber optic closure, I would of course like to get a quick overview of the corresponding connection, and they are both available in graphical and tabular overviews. So let's take a look to the graphical overview. It gives the representation on the fiber level, where you can see in the incoming feeder is spliced to the outgoing endpoints of the house connections, and the remaining fibers have been placed in the trays. And user could edit the information from the fiber connection editor as we did. And another possibility is the tabular overview, where user could see the details in the tabular form, starting from the incoming point and the incoming cable, that is the feeder cable or could be the main cable, and to which endpoints it is serving and from which cable. So the incoming cable and the end cable, and with the endpoints. Also, it gives the detail of which fiber has been spliced to which next fiber, and the cassette details with the splice place information. In order to edit the ducts, NetEngineer has the functionality of duct connection editor, where user has the option to disconnect the fitting between two different ducts with a right click, or with a drag and drop the new connections could be made. Once the editing has been finished, also the NetEngineer provides the duct connection reports. The reports as well provides the information which incoming duct is connected to which end duct, which are going to the endpoints or the customer locations, and also provide the color specifications for a better understanding. And if you do not know how much material you need to build a defined cluster, you could use the export of bill of materials from any of the defined cluster, which gives the result in an Excel format. The material list in the Excel format shows you the detail of the length of each type of ducts or the cables or the segments which has been used in a particular cluster. Finally, I would like to introduce the Ftth design wizard, and this is used to plan a cluster. And in this case, you could select the distribution cluster and the node from where the planning has to be started, and you would get the list of the buildings which are falling in the cluster, and you could connect or deactivate it. With the next step, you could choose the fiber or the cable types which are included, and also the trench type. Going to the next, it makes a preliminary check whether the planning is possible with your defined rules or not. And within few seconds the planning is almost finished, and the connections have been made. So this was the last view from our documentation tool, NetEngineering, and I would like to thank you for your interest.